The court finds that Miss Susan Manning Brooke is in contempt of violating the court stalking injunction by mailing documents directly to Mr. and Mrs. McGaffin. The court is going to, based on that contempt, impose a $1,000 fine and 30 days in jail.
The type of victim we have here is one that never quits. Mr. McGaffin has published a book. In his book, it's Champions Never Quit. And he has quoted in the book, in the 2023 version, about his family with Cheri, and he's quoted in the book saying, when adversity comes upon you, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. He's even said that he stood up at a public meeting and talked about pharmaceuticals, and medical industry as being sorcery. That's an exhibit.
How is that relevant?
It's relevant to show that he said that it was not well, it was received by some people, but not well by others. I think it goes to show that he indicated when things go against you, you need to fight. So, I'm trying to show, and maybe I've said enough. Maybe I've said enough. Maybe I've said enough.
And my book, Champions Never Quit, God is close by your side. I'm talking about to not give up in life, to, when you made a mistake or done something wrong, to take accountability, to get back up when you have gotten knocked down by someone else or if you've done something wrong. I'm not saying that when you're in the wrong, don't admit you're in the wrong and try to bend everyone to your will and force them to submit to you. I'm not saying that, but that's what Susan is projecting onto me. That's what she's doing. My book is just talking about never giving up. And John Stockton's sister, Stacy Stockton, just emailed me this week because they have a whole podcast called Voices for Medical Freedom. And she asked if I would mail John Stockton a copy of my book this week, which I said, yes, I would. It's an inspiring book. There's nothing about it that, I don't know why they're even bringing it up. So what else was there? Oh yeah, the body cam footage. I posted the body cam footage, the police body cam footage of Susan kidnapping our teenage daughter to make people aware of who Susan is, to protect ourselves. So when people understand that how she really is and how she abuses, that they'll find out how she is, so it helps protect ourselves.
Hi, this is Tim McGaffin, pictured here with my wife, Cheri. I'm going to show you some exhibits right now that I'll be talking about during the highlights of this court hearing so that when I'm talking about them, you'll know what I'm referring to. The first exhibit is the actual stalking injunction order. And you can see I have highlighted there in yellow. This is what was served to Susan Manning in person. It says no contact order, do not contact, phone, text, mail, email, or communicate in any way. Then the next thing that I'll be talking about is the actual package that Susan Manning mailed us directly addressed to my wife and I, Timothy and Cheri McGaffin. It's in her handwriting. It's anonymous. She didn't put her name on it. So she knows she's not supposed to be doing that, or else she would put her name on it. It's a weird address, P.O. Box 253, Ephraim, Utah, with no zip code. And you can see that it weighs 1.5 ounces because the attorney, Chris, maybe I've said enough, Greenwood, said that he doesn't know what was in it. And we didn't know what was in it because we never opened it up. We just returned to sender. I don't know if there's anthrax in it, and I don't have to open up or light a bomb if a bomb is sent to us. I don't have to do anything with it. He said that we should have opened it. We didn't want to open it. We don't want to waste 1 second of our lives opening anything from a stalker. But see, it says 1.5 ounces. So he goes from saying he doesn't know what's in it to then all of a sudden saying it was 2 pieces of paper. Well, you don't know, because 1.5 ounces, that is 6, 7, 8 pieces of paper, depending on how much the envelope weighs. And then the last thing that I would be talking about in this hearing is when I did a search on that obscure address, the P.O. Box 253 Ephraim, Utah address, it shows Shekinah Development, and it shows Susan Manning is the CEO of Shekinah Development, highlighted in yellow, and her phone number, personal phone number associated with Shekinah Development. So this was the exhibits that I showed, the evidence. It was overwhelming. And so keep that in mind as you're listening to the highlights of this court hearing. Thank you. And by the way, we are representing ourselves in this hearing against Chris Greenwood and Susan Manning, and I am the one who forced this hearing, this motion to enforce hearing. I forced Chris Greenwood and Susan Manning to come to this hearing to enforce the stalking injunction order against them.
There are 2 stalking cases against Susan Manning Brooks. They were scheduled for a motion to enforce. So if the McGaffins want to argue their motion to enforce on the stalking injunctions against Susan Manning, I'd like to hear from you now.
Okay, and so I'll just start. So we filed a verified memorandum in support of ex parte verified motion to enforce domestic order. And in that we included some exhibits. And so
I've read those, just so you know.
Okay. Thank you. So Susan was served the stalking injunctions last year in April. So she has the order. She knows what the order is in writing, and the order says to not contact us in any way. Don't email us, don't write us, don't mail us.
That's correct. And you also issued, and they agreed that those 4 stalking...
Can we speak first before Chris Greenwood interrupts us?
Yes, let's let them continue. Go ahead, Mr. McGaffin.
Thank you. And so on March 20th, something was received by a property owner at an address that we did not disclose to anyone, directly addressed to us, Timothy and Cheri McGaffin, and the property owner called us and notified us, took a photo of it, and the from address was P.O. Box 253, Ephraim, Utah. And so I did a search on DuckDuckGo, the search engines, and that showed that P.O. Box 253 from Utah belongs to, at that time, Shekinah Development, which Susan Manning is the CEO, and the phone number her phone number, personal number, is associated with that address. And also the from address included no from name. So Susan has the order. She knows she's not supposed to contact us. She mails this document directly to us with a weird address that belongs to her and no name. If she really thought that she had permission to do that, she would have put on there her name, and she would have put on there a different address, not this obscure address that we were able to track back down to her. So then me and Cheri called the San Pete Sheriff's Department, and Deputy Justice Green went to Susan's address, and he talked to them first. And when he talked to us, Justice Green told us that Susan said that she did mail the package to us, but her excuse was that it contained court documents, and so that it was fine to mail that to us. And also, Cheri recognized the handwriting on the envelope as Susan's handwriting. And Cheri wants to make a point.
It just made me feel unsafe that this was mailed to this address that we had to have our mail forwarded to. We couldn't even have our mail forwarded to our home because I knew Susan would find the address, which she did, because she sent it here to that address of a friend, and we felt that it was threatening and taunting us like, I found you. You can't hide from me. The rules don't apply to me. That's how I felt. I felt unsafe. Susan kidnapped me 3 times growing up as a non-custodial parent. She kidnapped my daughter, my teenage daughter, and had to be threatened 3 times by a policeman with kidnapping charges before she would bring them back. So she has a pattern of kidnapping, and I feel unsafe with her. It just felt taunting that, like, I found you.
Yeah, because she's violating the order.
Thank you. Mr. Greenwood, I'd like you to respond just to the motion to enforce.
Right. Your Honor, as I understand it, my client, in the stalking cases, did file a motion sui juris, something on her own, and was told that she needed to have it served, that there's a rule before any motion to work, you have to serve by mail. I wasn't involved in that. She just did it. And I think what I haven't heard from them is what was in the mail. But it was...
In their pleadings, they said, and I think he said they called the post office and asked that it be returned, that it wasn't opened. Is that correct, McGaffin?
That's correct. We did not open it. We just returned it to Scum.
Thank you.
So it was paper, a couple of sheets of paper of their pro se motion.
I was trying to save money in not having this court hear the stalking injunctions. Since they were pro se, I was trying to match it by doing a sui juris. That's all.
So what I understand was she does admit that the police officer spoke to her. She did indicate what it was. She showed the police what it was.
Yeah.
And that there were charges screened or something.
Yeah, I was just trying to save this money by not having this court.
Well, right, Your Honor. And I'll reserve what I want to talk about in terms of the orders.
Okay. Thank you.
So now Chris Greenwood has finished responding to my motion to enforce the stalking injunction. This is the hearing that I called to enforce the stalking injunction orders. And he has never submitted a motion to challenge the stalking injunctions because the evidence was overwhelming when we got the stalking injunction orders. They didn't even challenge it. But now, since he's under heat for the injunctions for being violated, he's now going to craftily and sneakily try to trick the judge into allowing him to challenge the stalking injunctions at this time, even though this is not the time to do it because this is not a hearing to do that. But the judge allows him to keep speaking, and he just keeps digging himself into a bigger hole. That's why he aptly named himself Chris, maybe I've said enough, Greenwood.
You need to know that the McGaffins have published the police video cam video of the juvenile court matter on the websites. And they published a video of the body cam video of the officer.
Okay. Then I'm not really sure how is it relevant.
To indicate the victim's background, to indicate that they're not thinking violence, to indicate what it is that would cause them harm. Whether they're genuine, it goes to their credibility when they say, I was shaking when I saw a piece of mail from them. Your Honor, I wanted to show that the type of victim we have here is one that never quits. Mr. McGaffin has published a book. In his book, it's Champions Never Quit. And he has quoted in the book, and the 2023 version about his family with Cheri, and he's quoted in the book saying, when adversity comes upon you, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. He's even said that he stood up in a public meeting and talked about pharmaceuticals, and medical industry as being sorcery. That's an exhibit.
How is that relevant?
It's relevant to show that he said that it was not well, it was received by some people, but not well by others. I think it goes to show that he indicated when things go against you, you need to fight. So, I'm trying to show, and maybe I've said enough, that the McGaffins are not intimidated by my clients trying to communicate.
Now it's my turn and Cheri's turn to respond to Chris Greenwood.
Thank you. Thank you, counsel. Mr. and Mrs. McGaffin, I'd like to hear from you in response.
So number one, we established in 2 years ago, in 2022, in mid-April, over text messaging, Cheri and Susan, Cheri established healthy boundaries with Susan, telling her that to stay away from our house, to not step foot on our property, to not leave packages at our house, to stay away from our family for a while, because Cheri was telling Susan, or was seeing that Susan was repeating her same patterns of abuse that she did with Cheri growing up. Now she's doing it to our family. So this is the first time in mid-April 2022, where Cheri said, stop coming to our house, don't set foot on our property, don't leave packages at our doorstep. That was the first time. After that, then Susan called CPS on April 25th, I believe, and made false allegations. On April 27th, Cheri called Susan, and this is the second time, over the phone, and verbally told Susan to stay away from our family, do not contact our family, do not send us packages, stay away from our family. A few days later, Michael Brook stepped on our property, put a bag on our doorknob that had an invitation to a party. They falsely accused me of things, but yet they're inviting me to a party. And then Michael Brook stepped on our property, I think it was on May 3rd, with the security camera footage picked up, which is all in the verified memorandum. And Susan texted Cheri, even though she was told not to contact us, saying, I don't know if you blocked me, but I sent Michael over to put an invitation on your door. So she clearly knows that we told her to stay away from us, but then she's sending her husband over to try to engage with us. So then we told him in writing after that, per our attorneys, do not step foot on our property ever again, Susan and Michael. That's the third time we told him to stay away from us. Then we got more packages at our house. We had a guy drop off sandbags. I asked him, who told you to drop off sandbags to our house? He said, a lady at Ace Hardware that to drop sandbags at our house. Then I got some anonymous package in July, a t-shirt that said George Orwell, 1984, freedom is slavery, the slogans from 1984. Then I was out, I didn't know who the package was from. Then I was at Walmart, getting oil for my car. I see Susan. She approaches me. She says, how did you like your shirt? I didn't say anything, and then I left, and then I filed a police report. I filed a police report when Michael stepped on our property. I filed police reports throughout this entire thing. Then she also made false allegations to Adult Protective Services. She told Adult Protective Services investigator that we have a lot of guns, that Tim is a constitutionalist, so since I believe in the Constitution, that's bad somehow. And that if the investigator comes to our house, I'm going to use the guns on the investigator. These are the things that she does. And Susan sent us more harassing text messages, falsely claiming that my daughter is special needs. And I called Dave Stevens, who's the regional supervisor of CPS. I explained to him what's going on. He told us this is very concerning. He told us to document everything. I filed another police report after that police report, Officer Agar told us to tell Susan and Michael in writing, this is the 4th time, actually it's the 5th time, because I texted Susan after she sent us that package, the t-shirt, to stay away from us. This is the 5th time Officer Agar told us to tell them in writing, if you contact us again, it will be considered harassment. Do not contact us again. And she sent us more messages. And then so Officer Jones called Susan, and he said, are you aware that your daughter Cheri told you not to contact her? And Susan said yes, but it was a mutual friend of ours that died. And Officer Jones says, regardless, that doesn't matter. You know that you were told not to contact them, so I would advise you not to contact them. And the same thing with Michael. And then we filed those police reports. Officer Jones submitted that to the county attorney, and so they charged Susan and Michael with electronic communication harassment. So Chris Greenwood trying to inverse reality, acting like we, the victims of being stalked, are the abusers, that we're the aggressors, is the opposite of what's going on here. I have totally never responded and said one word to them ever since they made these false accusations against us. And my book, Champions Never Quit, God is close by your side. I'm talking about to not give up in life, to, when you made a mistake or done something wrong, to take accountability, to get back up when you have gotten knocked down by someone else or if you've done something wrong. I'm not saying that when you're in the wrong, don't admit you're in the wrong and try to bend everyone to your will and force them to submit to you. I'm not saying that, but that's what Susan is projecting onto me. That's what she's doing. My book is just talking about never giving up. And John Stockton's sister, Stacy Stockton, just emailed me this week because they have a whole podcast called Voices for Medical Freedom. And she asked if I would mail John Stockton a copy of my book this week, which I said, yes, I would. It's an inspiring book. There's nothing about it that, I don't know why they're even bringing it up. So what else was there? Oh yeah, the body cam footage. I posted the body cam footage, the police body cam footage of Susan kidnapping our teenage daughter to make people aware of who Susan is, to protect ourselves. So when people understand that how she really is and how she abuses, that they'll find out how she is, so it helps protect ourselves. And so Susan constantly is what she does. She tries to create situations of plausible deniability. Oh, it's okay if I contact them when they told me not to because a friend died. Because if Cheri starts engaging and talking to Susan again, then Susan will claim that, oh, it doesn't matter that you told me not to contact you because we're talking again. That's all that is. It's just a ploy.
Thank you. Cheri McGaffin, was there anything you wanted to say?
I just want to address that Chris was saying that we're not intimidated by Susan's texts. He is not me, and he cannot speak for me. I've never spoken to him. He cannot make that claim. I 100% feel intimidated by Mel because it tells me, I found you, I know where you are, she thinks. And and the order doesn't matter, that boundaries don't matter, that she can always get around them and have plausible deniability. I kind of been explained the trauma I've been through these last 2 years because of Susan's lies. And I've done nothing. And we found not guilty. So anyways, this has been really hard. We've done nothing. We are good parents. We've been found not guilty in all the other cases. And our life has been hell because of Susan's lies. We felt that we had to move. We had a paid off house to be from. that we were not safe around her. That is very intimidated that I have to leave my life because we're not safe. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Now it's time for the ruling/verdict.
Miss Manning mailed a document to Tim and Cheri McGaffin. She was ordered to have no contact with the McGaffins, not to contact by phone, text, mail, email, or communicate in any way. The court finds that Miss Susan Manning Brooke is in contempt of violating the court stalking injunction by mailing documents directly to Mr. and Mrs. McGaffin. The court is going to, based on that contempt, impose a $1,000 fine and 30 days in jail.
So there you have it. And did you notice that the attorney, Chris Greenwood, when you don't have the truth on your side, when you don't have the facts on your side, you resort to attacking someone's character. And that's why they were saying my motto of never giving up and my book, that is somehow bad, because this whole case stems from them, Susan Manning, Chris Greenwood, being jealous of myself and my wife, Cheri. Instead of trying to be a champion themselves and do what's right, they need to try to put someone else down to try to make themselves feel better, to make them feel like they have some type of power over somebody. So thank you for watching and listening. And remember that God does hear and answer our prayers, and this life is a test, and the best is yet to come.